What is up, everybody? Jimbo and Crazy Kyle from Dirtflix. You might recognize us two stupid faces, but we're not doing Dirtflix tonight, in case you didn't figure that out by the title. No, we're doing something different here, man, and check it out. Jimbo's in stereo tonight. And you might ask, like, Jimbo, is that like the height of vanity? You know, like why are you doing that? But I will reveal that in just 1 second. I promise you, I have a very legitimate reason for this. But let me set this down so I can kind of get things going here. Okay, so what are we going to talk about tonight, guys? Okay, so for anyone who has not seen Masters of the Universe Revelation, we urge you to not watch this. Meaning, if you're planning on watching this, do not watch this stream because this is going to be spoiler heavy. We don't normally do stuff like that. You know, we've given people, you know, almost a week, you know, to kind of get through it. And we figure the sweat lords like us who are really going to watch this, it's only 2.5 hours for all 5 episodes. You probably blasted right through it the first night like we did anyways. So again, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. This is your final warning. After this point, it's on you. So if we, whoa, there's my hand. So if we ruin it for you, that's on you, man. We've given you more than enough warning, but we can't talk about the things that we want to talk about tonight without getting in to the weeds on this. So, basically Kyle and I are here and we're going to discuss some of the backlash that Master of the Universe Revelation is facing lately, where they've just been getting, you know, they being Netflix and the showrunners have just been getting flamed about this show, man. Like just left and right. They have just been getting blasted about this show. Pretty much across the board. I pretty much YouTubed it this morning just to kind of see, you know, what's going on. And I mean, the videos were endless. I mean, it was just like, it was like looking at like a news feed or something like that, where everyone was saying like, this is horrible. You know, Netflix backlash, Mattel is going to burn, yada, yada, yada. Kyle, is that what you were seeing, man?
I mean, honestly, it's getting to the point now where like these people are becoming sheep. Like I have seen so much of this shit that I just stopped looking at it. I mean, I really did, because I mean, the only thing that I see is people going off about this shit for views. That is literally it, in my opinion.
Yes. And we will get into the weeds on that extensively. Like, we just wanted to kind of lay the groundwork as far as what we're going to be tackling here. Okay, so real quick before we kind of hold our nose and dive head first into the weed, you know, why do I have this camera? Okay, so I want to show you guys something just in case there is any question about some integrity here. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to take this with me. So I'm going to leave you guys here, but I'm going to be on the mobile.
He's going to show you his dick.
I mean, I might.
Hold on, let me unmute myself. I might, you know, if you play your cards right. Okay, so we're going to take a little trip downstairs in Jimbo's house. I apologize in advance for the mess. Bear with me just a second, please. Just have to plug something in real fast. So, before we start calling people out here, because we are going to name channels and we are going to name names, and the bullshit is going to stop right here. So before I feel that I am physically capable of doing that, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of who's doing the talking here. I don't know if you can see that behind me, guys, but I have an entire case full of MOTU shit. If that's not enough, look behind me right here. Look at all of, hang on, let me flip my damn camera around. Yeah, look at all of this. Better. I had to de-shelf this because I'm moving things around right now. He-Man lunch boxes. This is the entire new figure line from Mattel. I literally have, no bullshit, the entire series for 2021 for the regular Origins line and also for the Revelations line. I have completely pre-ordered. So I'm going to be getting figures from Entertainment Earth from now until 2022. So I've already paid for all this crap in advance. So this isn't like a dick measuring kind of thing. That's not the point of doing this. It's more to say, like, look, if we're going to discuss this, this is going to be a legitimate MOTU lifer like me, who has been collecting this since he was 3.5 years old. It was the very first thing I ever loved more than oxygen. And I still do to this day. Again, not bragging rights. This isn't a pissing contest. I'm just saying, like, I'm not just blowing smoke here. I'm not a casual He-Man fan. I am probably the biggest He-Man nerd that Crazy Kyle knows. Is that a fair statement?
That's a pretty fair statement.
Okay. I think that most of my friends would probably agree with that I'm the biggest He-Man dork in their friend circle, and it's not something recent. I've been this way my whole life.
Like, legit, like, I would go through Walmart and all these places, and if I came across like a He-Man figure or anything, like, I don't give a shit what he was doing. Like, I would fucking call Jimbo and be like, do you have this shit?
Yeah, Kyle actually helped me get a figure. I was looking for what was it, the Prince Adam with the Sky Sled, I think is the one that you got me.
Yeah.
Because I looked high and low to try and get one of these, and this is back when these were Walmart exclusives and you couldn't get them anywhere else. I had my parents looking for me because my mother is like, hi mom, my mother is like a Walmart ninja. Like, she will search high and low to get these things for her only son. I'm sorry, let me drop this camera out of it since we no longer need that. Okay, so, and I had my sister looking for me, friends, basically everyone that I was in regular contact with. I'm like, hey, if you go into Walmart, you don't mind like strolling into the toy section, please just like keep an eye out. And like Kyle made my fucking day, dude. And he was just like, dude, like, do you have this? I was like, no shit. So he like found it for me, and like, I was like, oh bro, you fucking saved me, man. Cause it was like the last one I needed. So, but I mean, now like, it's easy because it's not a Walmart exclusive anymore. Like you can pre-order them at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, and stuff like that. So I basically just call Entertainment Earth. I guess I'm kind of a VIP now with the amount of money I've spent there, but I just tell them what I want, and they don't even charge me for shipping anymore because the orders I place are so large that I just order everything all at once. Like seriously, like I just got an email from them today showing me what I have pre-ordered, and it's going into next year. Like I was like, holy shit. Like, I mean, I've stuff that's not even going to come out until like January or February. So, and Mattel just added the Revelations line. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man, you guys are killing me. Like fucking you're setting my wallet on fire here. But the point I'm making here is, guys, I am not a casual He-Man fan at all. I am the most diehard He-Man fan I know. I know there are many like me. I'm a part of a lot of toy groups. Shout out to Toy Hoarders Anonymous, one of my favorite toy collecting groups. Dude, He-Man collectors are fucking legion in that group. So I know I'm not alone. There are a lot of dudes who love this shit like I do. So not dick measuring, just kind of laying the groundwork before Kyle and I get into the weeds. That being said, okay, Kyle and I have discussed this a little bit off air, and here's what we think. Or I'll speak for myself and then we'll let Kyle chime in, but we seem to be pretty much of the same mindset about this, but we'll get into the details. Okay. So I'm honestly pretty shocked that this show is getting flamed the way it is. And to lay a baseline here, I think it goes without saying that Kyle and I are probably the two biggest anti-woke people that I know. If anything goes into the fucking zip code of woke, I will shut that motherfucker down. I don't care if it's He-Man. I don't care if it's anything. If I thought for 1 second that they were trying to go that route with He-Man, I would burn that motherfucker to the ground. Because I'd be like, dude, there are two things that you don't fuck with when it comes to this guy right here. Bomberman and He-Man. If you try and fuck with either of those things, we're going to have a big problem in a big hurry. So I've legitimately listened to the criticisms of this. And to be fair, some of the people out there offered measured, legitimate criticism that I didn't necessarily agree with, but they weren't just like mouthing off about it like the goddamn world was ending. But those people are in the minority. The majority of people talking about this, in my opinion, A, are not legitimate MOTU fans, and the criticisms they were making were completely fucking outing themselves on that, and I'll get to that in a minute. We're going to name names on this, guys. I don't give a shit if these channels come after us. They can suck a dick. But at the same time, not legitimate He-Man fans, and as Kyle said earlier, it is so fucking obvious that these people are in this for nothing but clicks. And I think that that is sad. But I'm going to pass the ball over to Kyle now. Kyle, thoughts? Jump in here, buddy.
Like I said, dude, I mean, it's all about views. I mean,
Yes.
it's the sheep concept, you know. I mean, like, I'm not a super He-Man fan like you are, but I mean, that's one of my favorite cartoons, like, growing up, as far as that. Besides that, G.I. Joe and stuff, man. But I can see both sides. Like you're talking about, like some criticism from people, man. I can kind of see it. I really can.
And we're going to address those line by line. I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, we're gonna go through them.
But I mean, I just think people are taking it way too far.
Yes.
I mean, and like it's getting to the point to where like one of the producers even like he kind of spoiled part 2.
Just a little.
Just a little. Just the hair.
I mean, it wasn't a shocker what he said. Like,
no,
it's like,
no.
duh.
I mean, it's going to be obvious, you know, what's going to happen. But I mean, like when somebody literally has to go out of their way as a creator to try to make a point with something very small, and you know what's going to happen anyways, just to get you to shut the fuck up, there's a problem.
Yes.
I mean, that's a legit problem.
It is a legit problem. And I feel the need to remind everyone, both watching this and the talking heads that are criticizing this, we've only seen the first half of the season. Some people were trying to lay claim that, oh, you know, they did that on purpose because they knew that the show was bad. And okay, I heard about them releasing, quote unquote, part 1 of season 1 last fucking year. So if Netflix really knew this was bad last year, why are they going through with it? That doesn't make any sense. It's not like this reached the fucking table of I can't remember the guy that runs Netflix, and it went across his freaking desk at the last minute. He's like, oh shit, this is terrible. Like, we got to walk this back. No, guys, the show's been done for quite some time, and the next 5 episodes are nearly done. We're probably going to see them in the next 30 to 60 days, probably closer to 30. So no one is trying to course correct here. And even if they wanted to, it's really hard to do that with animation. This isn't like reshooting live actors, man. This shit takes a long time to make because they're drawing animation here, man. That is not a simple or fast process. That takes a long time, a lot of people, and a lot of money.
No joke. I'm starting to get into like a little bit of animation, just a little bit. And think about this really hard. The average acceptable animation is 60 frames per second.
Yep.
Now think about that.
Yep.
That's 60 different fucking photos for
per
1
second.
For 1 second. And you're talking like outrageous amount of time. That's why it took so long to do this shit.
Yes, it takes a long time to crank these out. That's why we've been waiting so long for Castlevania seasons, which, by the way, the same art studio that did Castlevania's handling Master Universe Revelations. And it takes time to do this, man. Like, they definitely got a system down. But, I mean, the point that we're making here, guys, is even if they wanted to course correct at this point, even if that were true, that they were course correcting because of the outrage, it's too late. They'd have to delay the show and completely redo it. So if this is going to premiere, let's say, ideally in the next 30 days, but worst case scenario, probably in the next 60 days. There's no course correction, dude. They might make a few tweaks with sound or something like that. But as far as changing the story beats, that's not going to happen. We're way past that point. So the next 5 episodes is the next 5 episodes that they were going to have from the fucking get-go. That being said, so the talking heads here seem to be judging this entire thing when they've seen a whopping 2.5 hours out of a 5-hour story, meaning we've watched 5 episodes and we have 5 episodes left. That's like reading 10 chapters in a 20 chapter book and deciding that the book sucks. You might not like the first 10 chapters, but summarizing it when you haven't gotten through the entire story arc, there's a word for that. It's called fucking stupid. You don't have all the information to gauge it. If you watch the whole thing and you really fucking hate it, fine. At least then you have all the information. If you do, great. But
and that's like Kevin Smith is like he's telling things about part 2, which I'm hoping this is what he's doing, is to literally fuck with your heads.
Sure.
And that's what I would do. That's legit. Like I would tell you shit just to get under your skin to piss you off.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be totally different than what actually you get to see.
Absolutely. Okay, so I've got some notes here, guys, and just kind of I just want to make sure that we address all of the talking points here and kind of cover all our bases. Okay, so the first thing I want to get out of the gate, first thing I want to get out of the way right out of the gate. Okay, let me make something very clear here, guys. Okay, this show is being put on by Netflix, but let me enlighten you as far as who's running the show. This is being done by Mattel Television, as in Mattel Toys, as in the owner from day one of Masters of the Universe, the sole owner of the license to this property in total. They are running this show. Kevin is the creative head of this, but I can assure you that he's got to run everything by Mattel because this is their thing. The head producer of this isn't someone that Mattel hired. He works for Mattel. If you watch the behind the scenes thing with Kevin Smith where they're talking to the actors and stuff like that, the guy standing right next to him, the lead producer, is a Mattel employee. The reason that I'm bringing that up, for all the people, like the main argument against this, and then we'll get into the weeds on this, is that this isn't the He-Man show, this is the Teela show. Okay. Let's just take that into argument for a second here, and let's give that a little credibility. Okay, He-Man and Masters of the Universe, and He-Man in particular, is one of the best-selling toys of all time, even to this day. Mattel is printing fucking money with this new MOTU line. They can't keep them in stock. They bring in a new figure, they sell out just like that. I know because I buy all of them. So if you think for 1 second that they would let Kevin Smith bench He-Man, that would be like a studio like telling DC Comics to bench Superman. That would never happen. That is never going to happen. They would literally they would be throwing away money by doing that. And let's be honest here, Mattel is really good at what they do. They are really, really good at knowing their fan base. The case in point, before all this Revelation shit happened, long before that, and I would say what set this off was the Masters of the Universe Origins line. They put that out as a Walmart exclusive, probably thought, this will probably do okay. And then it fucking exploded. It was like, you couldn't find these things anywhere, dude. It was like being like little, 3-4-year-old Jimbo all over again, where my mom told me stories about having to like stalk Toys R Us's for Christmas because that's all I wanted was Masters of the Universe. She had to go from store to store to store. And this is long before the internet, ladies and gentlemen. She had to do this shit analog by going in person to the store to try and track down figures. And she actually joked with me about this when the first wave came out. She's like, you realize that it's been almost 40 years since I've done this, and I did this exact same thing for you back then. That I went to toy stores and I was looking for this exact same shit for you way back when, and I'm doing it here. I'm doing it again, being a good mom. I was like, Mom, I love you. You're right. You're a really good mom because you're still doing it for me when I'm a goddamn adult. So the point I'm making here, guys, He-Man is such a huge selling point for Mattel. It is probably outselling all their other toys right now. If I had to guess, I can't absolutely swear on a stack of Bibles, but I guarantee you it's in their top 3. I can say that with impunity. This thing is selling like gangbusters. Why on earth would Mattel let Kevin Smith turn He-Man into the Teela show? Or furthermore, and then I'll let Kyle jump in here, this conspiracy theory that they want Teela essentially to take over for He-Man. Guys, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there already is a female He-Man. He has a twin sister named She-Ra, and that's not new. That new show that they did is fucking terrible. I fucking hate it because it's such a departure from everything it is. But
yeah,
we don't need a female He-Man because there already is one. He-Man and She-Ra, to me, is the perfect example of how to appropriate a character for another gender without shitting on the pre-existing character, because they didn't reinvent He-Man. They're like, what if he had a twin sister? And she's like as bad of a motherfucker as he is, man. She's got her own sword. She's got her own universe. She's got her own like enemies she fights. She's got Hordak and everything like that. Like, what if we just make that? But it's a girl and she's got like her own squad and shit. I was like, this is how you do this, because they were like, we're raking in all the boys here, man. How do we get the girls in on the equation? You know what? It fucking worked. Yeah, because it got my sister into action figures.
Yeah, and that proves
I would rock He-Man.
That proves they were marketing geniuses.
Yes, like Mattel knows what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen.
They know what the hell they're doing.
They are good at selling toys. Because think about this. They've got grown-ass men like me fucking stalking this shit. They literally have hooked me into their line for life. And I'm not alone. There's a lot of people like me. I'm not the guy responsible for making these things sell out. Everyone else, plus me, is making them sell out because there's a lot of guys like me who love this shit. So if you think for 1 second that the new MOTU is now the Tila show, you are fucking dumb. That does not hold up to scrutiny or criticism or logic or even rational thought for 1 second. Anyways, Kyle, jump in, dude. I'm doing all the talking here.
The whole Tila show thing, man. It's like when I watched this, it's like I was explaining to you. Like I used the example of like Lord of the Rings. Okay,
yeah.
You okay? So He-Man, if you go back to the 80s, like cartoon and stuff like that, man, He-Man is legitly like, we'll just say the baddest dude in the universe. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, whenever you have that can literally defeat anything, like, I mean, why not change it up a little? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at,
he's basically Superman. He's more or less invincible.
Yeah. I mean, you have to throw something at him that people are technically not supposed to expect.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's like Lord of the Rings. If you called it Gandalf and Lord of the Rings, like, there's going to be people that's going to be pissed off because Gandalf's not in the whole fucking thing. Okay. Right. At the end of the first one, what happened to him? He died.
Yeah.
There's people that's going to look at shit like the Lord of the Rings. If you take like a fucking sweat lord of the Lord of the Ring books, they're not going to like the movies because the movies literally left out so much shit.
Yeah.
But it's not focusing on one character because there's so much of a broad story from that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Same concept with this. Why not have something that's people are not going to expect, and it's going to be a whole different, like the Tila show thing is bullshit.
I know.
Okay. Like that's a whole storyline of all the other people too. Just because she was kind of like a focus a little bit, just a little bit.
Wasn't Evelyn part of the focus too? I would say she was, and no one's saying that.
And literally, He-Man was, like we were talking about, He-Man is technically in every episode.
Yes, he is. So all the people saying like Kevin Smith lied and stuff like that. Okay, I went back and I rewatched the 30-minute interview where Kevin is talking about all of this. I fact check every single thing he said. Not one single thing he said was factually inaccurate. That being said, was there a tiny bit of, we'll call it creative tap dancing around it? Not so much lying, but more kind of not really answering something. Yes, but guys, to answer those questions, he would have had to tell you the story and say like, oh yeah, by the way, He-Man dies in the first episode. So if he had told you the truth about this, you'd be mad that he spoiled it. But because he didn't tell you the truth, you bunch of fucking hipsters are mad anyways. There was never going to be any pleasing that group of people, no matter what he did, because he could either ruin the creative surprise or he could pander to you and just lie. So, first of all, I don't think he lied about this. I think he did his best to give you enough information about the show without ruining anything, which is a really, really hard line to walk. So while we're on that subject, next talking point, since we're talking about He-Man dying.
And just a quick thing, like,
yeah, man,
same concept with Marvel. If like one of the actors of Marvel would have like even hinted of what was going to happen, what the fuck do you think would have happened to their career?
I mean, Spider-Man got in trouble for that like twice.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I mean,
Marvel got really mad at him, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like,
they had to shut him up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, that's why after that, you never saw him in an interview by himself. There would always be one of the other Marvel actors there with him to kind of like chaperone him, like, just like, dude, shut up. Like, we're not supposed to talk about that. Shh. So, I mean, dude, he was 19 years old, man. He's a kid. Like, I mean, you know, he's excited to be fucking Spider-Man. It's all good. But since we're talking about He-Man dying, okay, remember how I said earlier that so many of these fucking talking heads that I have seen, and I'm just going to out two of them right now. Okay, so the two main offenders here, in my opinion, are Clownfish and Geeks and Gamers. I've watched several, if you guys are watching this, I've watched several of your videos on this topic. And to say that you are a casual He-Man fan is being nice. And yes, consider this your fucking call out. How do I know that? Well, you both have the same level of surprise that He-Man died, as if this is something fucking earth-shattering. Let me enlighten you, dorks. He-Man has died twice before this. It's happened 2 times, and he's been brought back 2 times in the comics, and I didn't see anyone getting mad about it. Not even little kids, you know, when their fucking hero was, you know, dying. Sure, was I upset, you know, when little version of me was reading this, like, oh my gosh, He-Man's dying and stuff. I mean, but next issue, we're good to go, man. He-Man's back on his feet saving the fucking day. Kind of like what's going to happen in the second half of this season. And if any of you think that that's some type of, pun intended, revelation, you're an idiot. And you don't know shit about screenwriting or the creative process or this thing called the hero's journey. So how does this tie into pop culture? And then I'll let Kyle jump in here. Okay. There's this little movie that came out about 40 years ago. Maybe you've heard of it, called The Empire Strikes Back. And when that came out, that actually got flamed up and down by critics and by fans for being too dark, too depressing. How can you treat the characters this way? This undoes everything that happened in the first movie. I'm so upset about this. And then you fast forward about 25 years after that, and it's pretty much universally agreed by Star Wars fans everywhere to be the definitive film in that original trilogy. It's studied in film school in SoCal and stuff like that. Like, this is cited basically as the textbook example of how to do a sequel. Like, this is kind of like the archetype, the blueprint of how to do a sequel correctly. And I will explain why. Here's what Empire does best. Star Wars, the first one, dude, it's uplifting. It introduces you to the world. It introduces you to Jedis. They blow up the fucking Death Star, triumphs over evil and shit. You know, they're getting medals at the end. Rah, rah, sis, boom, America. Like, you know, the good guys win in the end. In the end of Empire, the good guys are losing. And they're not just losing, they're losing bad. Luke loses his hand. He finds out that Darth Vader's his father. The Empire is winning. Han Solo is frozen in carbonite, basically being sent off to his death, you know, or so we think, to Jabba the Hutt. Everything is fucked up in the end of Empire Strikes Back. And you know why? Because that's what makes a good second act. That's what has to separate itself from the first act. The first act sets you up. It world builds. It gets you excited for the rest of the project. The second act turns everything around on its head, tears everything down. And at the end of a good second act, the heroes should be knocked with their dicks in the dirt. That is what makes the third act so awesome, because it's the comeback. It's the triumph. It's good triumphing over evil. And guys, this isn't something new. I know I'm completely dick riding Empire Strikes Back right now. Guys, this is as old as the King Arthur legends. This is called the hero's journey. This is basically the oldest literary concept known to man. This has been done millions of times over the course of human history. This is kind of what makes a good story. You could go back to fucking the nursery rhymes, like Jack and the Beanstalk and shit that you heard when you were a kid. It follows this exact same formula. This isn't anything new. Why are we bringing this up? Guys, as Kevin has said from the beginning, without being able to legally do it because they can't jump into the original show because another company owns that show. Mattel owns the character, so they can't do a direct sequel to that. But when you watch the beginning of Revelations of this season, the first episode, there's not a lot of world building. There's basically no world building because they know that everyone knows this story. That the fans that are watching this know what's going on. They know who He-Man is. They know who Skeletor is. Like, they don't need to set up anything, dude. They just need to kind of set up what's going to happen. They don't need to set up He-Man's origin story or anything like that. So you can make the argument that this is basically picking up where that show left off. Meaning, if the first show was Act 1, this is definitely Act 2.
Yeah,
where everything is full swing, and here we go.
That's why they called it like a spiritual sequel or something like that.
Yes.
And like they changed He-Man's symbol on his chest.
Oh, right? So what? You know what they made it more like, though? It looks like the figure instead of the guy in the show. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Why? Because the figures came fucking first, not the show. So I'm fine with that. They made the characters look more like the figures than they ever have, even to the point where the vehicles that you see in the show, the animators actually took the original toys and scanned them in so that they would look so accurate, like the Land Shark and Bashosaurus and shit like that, that these things would be laser fucking accurate. If that isn't fan service, you're going to have to give me a better example. And while we're on the subject of fan service, okay, so for anyone who hasn't seen this, let me tell you what happens in the first 10 minutes of this show. There's a fake me out with Faker where you think that he's He-Man, which is kind of what Faker does. There is Bashosaurus, the Land Shark, Skeletor, Evil Lyn, Clawful, Spikor. Like, there is deep cuts out. Like, in the first 5 minutes, you're getting that. You're getting fan service out the ass. So, as much as I'm just going to pick on Castlevania, for example, which I love, by the way, I think that's one of my favorite shows ever on Netflix.
Dude, it was awesome.
That entire show had a fraction of the fan service that MOTU has in the first episode. There's some really good nuggets in Castlevania. There's a little bit of sprinkling here and there, but this is a whole different level of fans. This is made by people who really did their homework.
Yeah, they brought in Stinkor. Like, he wasn't even in the cartoon.
And yeah, Stinkor was not even in the cartoon. I love that you mentioned that, dude. I actually heard one of the talking heads on YouTube saying that they were kind of upset that this version of Stinkor was kind of a betrayal of the source. And I was like, what are you talking about? He wasn't on the show. He was just a figure. There's nothing to compare it to. They're making this up as they go, and they're like, why did Jason Mewes play it? I don't know, because it looks like Stinkor's blowing out a bong hit, and they kind of hired a professional stoner to do it. And it's a Kevin Smith production. Did you think Jason Mewes wasn't going to be involved somehow? I mean, really?
That's like Jimbo making a movie and not asking me to be part of it.
Yeah, it's like me making a Dirt Flicks movie and not having like half of the Dirt Gallery in here. So it's, guys, really? Like that's when I officially had checked out of this shit, because I was like, okay, first of all, these fuckers don't know what they're talking about. Second of all, they are finding reasons to be upset about this.
Oh, yeah, and that's another thing we'll point out is what's the people that had the longer video?
Clownfish.
Okay.
You guys suck, by the way. Your videos are boring as shit.
Such self-conceited twats.
I know.
Because I watched like half the video, and I couldn't tell you how many times I heard, oh, he calls us out by name. He calls us out by name. Like, who gives a fuck?
So?
You know.
What's your point?
Yeah.
You don't even have the fucking balls to go on camera, dude. Do you think I'm really going to give you any credibility hiding behind your fucking little animated shit?
Yeah, 2 little anime things like this on the side of the screen.
Yeah, I would love to see what you two fuckers look like. Yeah. See, the difference is when we go on camera here, you see what we actually look like. We got the balls to go in front of the camera. So if you want to come at us, have at it, dude. We're ready. Seriously. You want to go toe-to-toe with a legitimate MOTU fan? Bring it on. I'm fucking ready. So back to the points here, man. Let me not get too far off the notes here. Okay, so I wanna redress a little point about He-Man dying. Okay, let's clear the air on this. First of all, He-Man didn't die. Prince Adam did. I understand that's like comparing. Some people would say it's like comparing Clark Kent to Superman. Okay, well, the difference is that Clark Kent and Superman are actually the same person. Prince Adam and He-Man are not the same person, because that's like saying Billy Batson and the original Captain Marvel, even though the rest of the world are the same person. No, it's He-Man is basically an avatar that Prince Adam walks around inside of. It's like a different person that he's like inhabiting. It's not just a big pumped up version of him. It's almost like he's like wearing a suit or something, or like spiritually kind of wearing a suit, which again isn't a new concept. So the simple fact that I haven't heard anyone give credit to the amazing amount of story beat and dialogue when Skeletor looks over and He-Man's not He-Man anymore, and it's Prince Adam, and he's literally holding the fucking swords apart, and Skeletor is like dumbfounded because he has no idea that He-Man was not He-Man all the time. He's like, he's just a boy, and that boy is holding the entire power of the universe together right now. Like, he's like, holy shit. Like, I mean, this kid is like a fucking legend, man. Like, he's more powerful than He-Man, because He-Man's like a fucking OP dude. This is just a regular skinny teenager, and his cells are literally being ripped apart, and he's holding it together, dude. If that isn't the most goddamn heroic way to go out, you're going to have to give me a better example, because I don't know of one. He went out like a bad motherfucker, man.
That was a very epic moment. I loved
it. Dude, it made me fucking cry, man. I was like, oh my God. I was like, dude. I was like, no. Like, I mean, did I think that was the end of He-Man? Of course not. It's the first episode. But, dude, that doesn't mean it didn't punch me in the fucking feels. This is my hero, man. This is my ultimate hero. And I'm watching him basically be fucking de-atomized in front of me, and then he's gone. And not only is he gone, like, Skeletor's gone. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, holy shit.
Oh, that was awesome.
I was like, man, we're off to a freaking bang up start. So, okay. So while we're on the subject here, man, I am going to give the talking heads a tiny bit of credibility on this, because there was one tiny little point that I think some of them had some merit on. Tila's rant about her being upset, I think, could have been handled a little bit better. I don't necessarily disagree with that direction of the story, and I understand the point that the writers were trying to make, that she's like, everyone in her life that she loves has lied to her. So she's like, I don't know who to trust at this point, because every single one of you has lied to me.
Yeah.
Her best friend isn't what he thought she was, or what she thought he was, rather. It's her whole world just fucking disintegrated, just like that. Now, could it have been done and maybe sounded a little less whiny? Yes. Like, I mean, it didn't bother me too much. I was just like, well, I would have handled that a little bit differently. But I understand where they were going, but that doesn't mean that the whole fucking show, I need just need to take a shit on the show because one tiny little scene I disagree with. But what did you think about it, Kyle?
The only con that I really had with Tila, man, like throughout the whole entire thing, was I think they should have chose a different actress to voice her.
I agree.
Because honestly,
she's too feminine.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's voice just doesn't match with Tila at all.
I thought the exact same. And for the record, I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm like an old school fan of Buffy, but her voice is too high. Like it's too high of a pitch. Like Tila is a giant fucking bad bitch of a woman, dude. And I say that respectfully. Like she's like the size of a goddamn female power lifter. I'm not saying she should be like, hey Adam, what's up? She shouldn't be all fucking anything like that. Just she should sound like I'm trying to think of somebody like Gina Carano or something like that. Like kind of a effeminate voice, but it's got a little oomph. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I'll give you a prime example. Have you ever seen Grown Ups? Like the movie Grown Ups? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know when like the ladies are like laying by the pool and that big muscle bound dude comes over and walks? Like before Tila spoke, I was thinking, man, this chick's, she's a badass, Mm-hmm. And then when she speaks, I was like, that moment when the women were looking at that muscle bound dude, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
I mean, she was trying her best, man. Like it's not Sarah Michelle Gellar's fault. She's a tiny little chick, man. She's like 5'4" or 5'5", and she's like a little petite. She's gonna have like a super high voice. Like that's just the way she's made. Again, we're not shitting on Buffy, man. I love me some Buffy, but
love it.
I would have gone a different direction with Tila's voice in this. Just my 2 cents. Yeah. So I will give the Talking Heads credit on that. Yeah, the Tila speech thing could have been handled a little bit better. Yes, I agree. But that's okay. That didn't kill the show for me. Okay. Unless there's anything you want to add on that, dude, I've got a bunch of talking points. I'm really trying to get through here, man. Okay, so let's see, we got through that one. Okay. I want to address Orko dying, or Orko in general. In my opinion, Orko was one of the best parts of this show.
Agreed.
Because they took what was essentially just a played for gags kid humor character from the original show that was very two-dimensional, and they gave him feelings, dude. They gave him a soul. They made you like really feel for this fucking little dude, man, who knows that he's a fuck up and he knows that he's not good at what he's supposed to be good at, but he wants to be, and he tries so hard. And dude, when I went back and rewatched this, and I've watched this thing twice. I watched it once by myself and I watched it again with the girlfriend, and I noticed something the second time when they go to see Duncan, and he's basically like Orko's on life support at this point. And Orko was just like, I need to go with you. There was something about that scene that just hit me. And it's not because I knew what was going to happen. There was something about the way the dialogue flowed where it's almost like Orko knew that he was going to die and he was okay with it. Like he knew that he was dying and that this was the last good thing that he could do to save his friends. Like he knew that he was probably not going to make it back because he's already weak, because of the magic basically being sucked out of Eternia. And he's like, you know what? These are my friends, and like the fate of the fucking universe is riding on this, and I'm dying anyways. I have to go, and if I have to give my life to do this, if this is the one time that I get things right, it'll be worth it. And dude, when he died, dude, the next to only Prince Adam holding the universe together with his tiny teenage body, second only to that was Orko's death. Because he knew that when he was holding the proverbial waters back, that he wasn't getting out of there alive. That he was facing off against Scareglow. And he's just like, Tila's like, no, Orko. And he's like, it's okay, Tila. I'm not afraid. He knew that was the end. And he was like, I'm okay with it, man.
In my opinion, though, man, like, I don't necessarily think that's the end of it.
Oh, dude, it's absolutely not. For Christ's sake, man. It's Masters of the Universe. No one's really going to die.
Yeah, I mean...
No. They can't sell toys if they're dead. So.
Yeah. But still, though, I mean, like, a lot of people, like, they really think that he's gone for good. Like, I don't think so.
No, he's trapped in the underworld, basically, with Scareglow. That's what I think. Like, I don't think he's gone. I just think he's down there hanging out.
And that's another thing is Scareglow. I
know, they worked in fucking Scareglow.
Like, that was just a toy.
Finally, we get Scareglow.
Yeah, that was just a toy. Like, that wasn't anything.
Yeah. and they got fucking Candyman to voice him, which was like so perfect. Have Tony, I was like, dude, it's Tony Todd. That is so amazing.
So that goes back to the fan service shit.
Oh, dude, this show has more fan service than any adaptation of anything in the realm of toys that I have ever seen. Every second of this show is non-stop fan service. I mean, it's just one thing after another. And going back to the talking heads here, I'm trying to remember who it was, whether it was that one fucking dickhead who thinks that having more shit on your screen makes you look more professional than having a validated opinion versus actually being informed on it. Whatever his fucking name, Geeks and Gamers, whatever. Suck a dick, dude. Or Clownfish, I don't remember who it was, but one of them was just like, they were mad that they were like, we actually got to see He-Man die 3 times in this because the first time it was Faker. And I was like, wait a minute. You're upset that Faker was convincing as He-Man? Do you not understand that that is the entire point of that character, is that he is essentially a decoy of He-Man to fool people into thinking that he's He-Man, even though he's just a robot essentially built by Skeletor? Like, the whole point of his existence is to fool people into thinking that he's He-Man. And it's like they were upset about that. I was like, wait a minute. They made Faker for the first time ever convincing as He-Man. Even I didn't see that coming. I was like, holy shit, it's He-Man. Then I was like, wait a minute. I mean, I figured it out by the time he like bear hugged the freaking sorceress and stuff. I was like, oh, it's Faker. Like, but I mean, they worked it in a non-cheesy way. It wasn't just like, I'm blue He-Man. It's like, hey, He-Man, you're looking a little blue today. What's wrong? No, they made it actually like accessible and logical to adults. And it's like, I'm pretty sure it was Clownfish. They were upset about that. I was like, dude, you are looking for reasons to be mad. You are a part of what I call outrage capitalism, where your entire business model is based on being more pissed off about bullshit than the guy next to you. Which is what's killing me here, dude. What's killing me about all of this is all of these people are so self-aggrandizing and standing on their own platform of, we're doing this to be anti-woke. Do you not realize that all you are doing is being the other side of that coin? The other side of that coin isn't the good side. It's still bad. If it's a bad coin, both sides suck. You're just on the other side of being woke. And it just really begs the question to me, man. And I'm going to ask this question to you. This entire situation has really made me think about this legitimately. Has the whole woke thing that we have seen in that, I mean, let's be honest here, it is invading pop culture left and fucking right. That I think is beyond demonstrable at this point. Has the fact that that's been happening made people so sensitive to stuff like this that when something just makes a minor little detour, even though it's temporary, like killing the hero in the first thing, bringing it back and ending on a cliffhanger, it focusing on a few other characters for 3 or 4 episodes or whatever, has it made us all so sensitive to this that someone taking a tiny little bit of creative license with this and introducing something new, that everyone just shuts the fuck down and just like, no, they're destroying it, like, this is terrible, it's the fucking Tila show. Is that what is happening? Is that the effect that woke has had, where everyone is just on edge, like, no, that's bullshit? Is that what's going on?
This is why I don't like people in general. Like, literally. Like, I don't like people in general. And like these people on both sides and cancel culture, you can all go fuck yourselves.
Yes.
Why try to ruin something that I personally thought was legit great? I wish it was like longer episodes.
I know.
Like 30 minutes is just not enough.
I've been waiting so long for something like this, like an actual, we'll call it aimed at adults update here. The 2000X show, like the Cartoon Network did, was good. I did enjoy it and I did watch it when it was on the air, but let's be honest here, guys. It didn't really cater to the OG MOTU fans. They were more focused on raking in the next generation of kids. And I understand that's how they sell toys. Like, I totally get it. This time around, it doesn't seem like they're doing that at all. Like you could watch this with your kids. I would say I'd give it like a PG rating. You know, it's generally pretty family friendly. I would say PG, maybe PG-13. It's no worse than watching a Marvel movie. Fair?
I agree.
So
I actually wish it was more bloody, if it makes sense.
I know, but dude, at the end of the day, it's fucking He-Man. I mean, this is bubblegum. This is apple pie. Like we can't go too dark on this.
I know, but it needed a little bit of, like, you know, let's cut somebody's head off, you know.
I mean, it might happen.
Well, yeah. You know what? I can't say that it didn't happen because it might happen in part 2.
It might happen in part 2. We don't know.
So let's do it. Let's do it, Kevin.
Let's do it. I mean, dude, in the first episode, for the first time ever, He-Man impales Skeletor. I was like,
yeah.
Whoa. And even Skeletor was like, and I loved that line of dialogue. That was my favorite line of dialogue from the whole thing. You finally used that sword for what it was intended for. And it has such a double meaning because what is a sword intended for? To impale someone. And then he was just like, to unlock the secrets of the universe behind him. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that writing was razor sharp, man. Like that was beautiful.
Then turn around. Then the last episode, he impales Prince Adam.
Yes. It comes full circle, which was to me, that was the big shock. I was like, he's got the sword back. He's fucking back, man. Like, it's go time, baby. Say the words, pump that shit up. Let's become the most powerful dude in the universe. And mid-sentence, I have the... And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I actually said that out loud. I was like, oh, no. I was like, no. Like, that fucking killed me, man, to see that. I was like, no. Like, he's so close, dude. He was about to fucking correct everything and save the universe. And then, boom. Prince Adam's laying there bleeding to death. Skeletor picks up the sword of power and says the words. And for the first time ever, we have the anti-He-Man. We've got the Antichrist to He-Man's Jesus. Like, we've got the other evil side of it, where I was like, I'm heartbroken right now, but that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, so as Kyle and I were discussing offline before we got on here about this, how you cannot be excited to see season 2, where for the first time ever, He-Man is going to fight somebody at his level.
Yeah.
Meaning Skeletor has, for the first time ever, he has a legitimate chance at taking He-Man down because they're going to be on the same playing field where they're both OP as fuck. So how can you not be excited about that, dude? This is like fucking King Kong and Godzilla, man. Like, this is the fucking rumble that we've been waiting for, man. Like, let's settle this. And by the way, did you catch the line from the Master Universe live action movie that they worked into it? I don't think a lot of people missed it. I caught it though.
Probably.
It's in the first episode, and I was like, they worked it in.
I probably heard it, man, and I just wasn't paying attention.
All right. Well, end of the first episode, when He-Man and Skeletor are getting ready to go at it, and Skeletor like brings out the staff and he said, "Let this be our final battle." That is the exact line that Skeletor says from the movie to Dolph Lundgren. And I was like, yes, they even worked in this shitty movie. Yes. Dude. Like, if that's not fan service, what is? They even worked in the crappy stuff.
Even Dolph said like he wished he never done it, but I know as stupid as it is, I still enjoy the movie.
I still love it, dude. It's the simple fact that we don't have one single transformation in the entire movie, I think, is the worst part of it. Like, he says, I have the power, but it's like, dude, every kid who watched this show, the most exciting part of the show is when Prince Adam pulls out his sword and transforms. That is what we are waiting for every single time. And it never gets old.
Yeah.
And while we're on the same subject, dude, all right. I thought the best transformation of He-Man that I ever saw was it was about halfway through, I think, the first season of the early 2000s revival, where there's a scene where I don't remember the crux of the episode, but like Skeletor's winning and Prince Adam is like on his, like gets thrown into a fucking cannon or something like that. And he thinks he's lost the sword or whatever. And then in comes Orko and Orko rescued the sword for him. And he was like, ta! And he pulls it out, and Prince Adam's like, my power sword. Like, you know, just when you think everything's about to go into zero, he's like, oh my God, like I can turn this around. And he does this transformation that is so fucking amazing because you get to see like the physical effect of what Prince Adam's body is doing when he's turning into He-Man. Like he's literally growing like the Incredible Hulk. Like his fucking lats start expanding and shit. It's like it looks like he's in pain. Like you're like, oh, like his body's like trying to tear himself apart. Up until now, that was my favorite transformation. And actually, if you YouTube it, if you type in He-Man best transformation, it's got a crap ton of views, and a lot of people seem to agree. Like, dude, that was the shit right there.
Yeah.
The one in this show blows that shit clear out of the water. That transformation in that first episode was the most amazing shit I have ever seen in my life. I am man enough to admit that when that happened, I was crying like a bitch. Little 4-year-old me took over, and the 41-year-old version of me was gone. 41-year-old Jimbo's not here anymore, bro. Like 4-year-old version's like, I'm the captain now. And it was like that. I was a little kid again. And the wonder and awe and connection I had to this was like everything else around me disappeared. And this was the only thing in my purview that mattered. Like it just came fucking out of me, dude. Like I've been waiting my entire life to see this realized as an adult. Like just everything about this, the music, like when he's like pan around, man, his fucking rear delts are like spreading out and shit. And he's getting all bodybuilder big and crap. And I'm like, this was the man that I wanted to be when I was a kid. I got bullied, I got picked on, and He-Man gave me fucking hope, dude. There's an old expression. Be the person that you want, be the person that you needed when you were a little kid. That was He-Man. That was what got me through some dark shit, man. Like for real. I'm talking real talk here, guys. He-Man fucking saved me when I was a little kid. He gave me hope. He was a fucking blonde. I was a little fucking blonde kid running around. I was like, dude, he looks like me, but he's like a grown-up version of me. And I'm like, I wanted to grow up to become this. He was the reason I got into bodybuilding. He was the reason I love animation so much. He's the reason I love sword and sorcery so much. He's the reason I love the 80s so much. Like you just go down the list of everything that this show is fucking responsible for in my life. He-Man fucking saved my life, dude. Seriously. And in that tiny little 30-second or whatever clip where he's transforming, I was back in that moment just that fast, where I was just like, it just Niagara Falls, man. Like, I mean, like I sent the girlfriend away for this. I was like, I need to watch the first episode by myself. Like, I'm not ready to take my vulnerability to that level. This is between me and him, man. I got to do this shit alone. Like, I'll watch it again with you, sweetie, I promise. But one-on-one the first time, it's me and my hero, man. This is something so personal to me that I don't care what anyone else thinks. I don't want anyone around. I don't want to watch this with anyone, man. This is something I got to do for me. And she was like, do you, honey? It's fine. Like, you go do your thing. So to wrap this up, because I know Kyle's got to get out of here, guys, if any part of me for 1 second felt that there was any type of fuckery or wokeness, or this was headed down a really, really bad way, I would be the first person to say that. I assure you, I would be calling this out before anyone would be. I would be 10 times madder than anyone else would be, because this is one of those lines that you do not cross with me. You have got to get this right. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing I grew up with, guys. Let's be honest here. The original show, when you go back and watch it, was it awesome when it was a kid? Yes. When you watch it now, is it cheesy as fuck? Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. Because it was made for children. This show wasn't. If you want to see He-Man beat up Skeletor in every single episode, it's free. Go watch the show. You can watch it anytime you want, or you can watch the 2000 show. there's no stakes involved in that. If He-Man is going to win every single episode, that's fucking boring. That's entertaining to a kid, but that doesn't work in the long form narrative of television that we're used to right now, where television is basically a really long movie. Fair?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're used to. When you Game of Thrones, like you Lost, you just go down the list, man. They're all big movies, just told in like segments. It's not like everything is wrapped up in a bow at the end of every episode. No, dude, it's a long story, just told in installments. So the good guy always winning at the end of the 30 minutes, that don't cut it today, man. And it shouldn't. We're a smarter audience than we were back then, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, I've done my conclusion here, man. Kyle, final thoughts on your side, man?
I mean, honestly, man, like I said, I enjoyed it. I really did. And I even went at this like before I even watched it. Like, I actually messaged Jimbo. I was like, dude, I need your input. Before
what did I say? You can tell him.
What was it? I'd have to go back and look, man.
You can paraphrase. You don't have to quote me.
Basically, like, just watch it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But
I didn't want to influence your thoughts, man, because like I know how I feel because I'm He-Man Superman fan. I legitimately wanted to know what you think. So I'm like, go watch it and you tell me what you think.
Yeah, and I did, man. I went open-minded because I mean, I was seeing so much negative about it before I even watched it. And usually I'm kind of one of those people it's like, hey man, I'll watch anything once. Like, I don't even give a shit how bad it is. I'll watch it, you know. But in the end, man, I really honestly think that, in my opinion, they done it justice.
Yes.
And I think it's going to get better.
Yes.
In the second part. With that being
I can't wait.
said,
I can't wait to see the payoff.
Dude, when the 5th episode ended, I was more heartbroken because I couldn't keep watching it. I was just like, this fucking blows, man. Like, I gotta wait like another month or two.
I know.
To see what the hell goes on, you know.
But isn't that exactly what makes a good television show?
Yeah,
is when it leaves on a cliffhanger and you're like, dude, no, god damn it. Like, it leaves you wanting more. That's what makes a good TV show.
Yeah. And I refuse to be fucking sheep. Like, I'm not going to go out here and just give my opinion just because I want fucking views. I could give two shits.
No,
that's what you all are doing. Literally, you are wanting views, and every one of you asshats literally have ads in your videos.
I know. At the end of both of these aforementioned channels, we get like, oh yeah, by the way, don't forget to go to my Patreon. Okay, well, let me get this straight, fuckwad. You want me to pay you for sitting in a room and having an opinion? Really? And exactly what am I investing in for you to keep giving me your opinion? I'm not saying you're not allowed to have an opinion. You absolutely are. That's what YouTube is for. But shouldn't a Patreon or something equivalent to that be like for production value, or like, I want to do more stuff and like, I need you to pay me this so that I can do that because I need to upgrade equipment? Okay, sure. Like, if that's the route that you're going with it. But if you're sitting here the same way we are in like a fucking game room or whatever, and you're just giving your opinion on something, why am I going to invest in your channel, dude? That doesn't take anything but like a small amount of your time. You don't need to invest a bucket of money to facilitate that. You don't even need a computer, man. You can do that shit with a phone.
And literally, like, I was like, when I watched their videos, man, I was going in open-minded. You know, I was like, you know, I'm going to listen to what these people got to say. And what did I tell you about the two people?
Guy was like, these fucking people are just talking way too fast and over each other, and I just can't keep up. And I'm like, bro, you got to lay off the weed, allegedly.
Like literally, they just ran their mouth so much for like 40 minutes, I think it was.
Oh, dude, my girlfriend got so sick of it because I was watching in the background while I was hanging out with her, and she was just like, oh my god, that bitch needs to shut the fuck up. I was like, yeah. I'm like shouting at the television, and she's like, honey, you need to calm down. I was like, I can't calm down. I'm fucking mad about this. was like, these people are fakes. Like, they don't know what they're talking about, and they're outing themselves with every single thing they say. All they are doing is like perpetuating outrage. Like, being outraged right now is like, pay me to be upset about something. Okay, so you're upset about something. Welcome to fucking life, man. Half of life is being disappointed. Like, I'm sorry that you thought that this show was disappointing. I'm sorry that you thought that this was the Tila show, you know, because it's fucking woke and all this other shit. Guys, look, she gets the Hunger Games haircut. It's very obvious that she's into black pussy and stuff like that. And you know what? Is that a little 2021? Yes. Do I care? No, because they never covered Tila's sexuality to begin with. They left it because it's a kid's show. They left it kind of ambiguous. Nobody's fucking anybody, but I mean, if anybody's fucking anybody, like Prince Adam is like fucking dudes. Like, I mean, come on. You cannot watch that show and tell me that Prince Adam isn't gay. Gay dudes I know are like, dude, this is the first metaphor in animation for a gay dude. Period. Like, this is what started it. So I'm like, I mean, and you know what? So what? Don't care. Who Tila is going down on, I don't care whether she eats dick or eats pussy. That doesn't matter to me.
We literally got Aaron Strange on Dirtflix.
I know. So it's obvious, like, dude, we don't care about that stuff because we have a guy who isn't even really sure what his gender is half the time.
That's very true.
Because we're not sure what his gender is half the time. You know?
Yeah.
Like he makes us question ourselves. Like, dude, like, you know, he's kind of attractive, but is like, does that make me gay? Or does it, you know, it's like he's kind of a chick, so it's not really all the way gay. Like, yeah, those are the kinds of thoughts that Aaron makes grown men have, unfortunately. So, guys, if you haven't watched the show, I mean, you probably shouldn't watch it at this point because we just fucking ruined it. But
actually,
if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
I don't think that we ruined it. I mean,
we spoiled it.
Well, maybe a little bit, but you know what? That's like I'll get Jimbo's opinion on a movie before I watch it. I'm like, dude, you're not spoiling it if you just tell me what happens because I'm still going to watch it either way.
I know, but I still don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, but I don't.
I feel bad.
I don't fucking care.
I know you don't care, but I care. I feel bad.
But I mean, if you haven't watched it and you've listened to us rant about this shit, like, go watch it. Like,
seriously, go watch it.
Go watch it anyways.
My girlfriend is not a He-Man fan, dude. She's younger than I am. She did not grow up with this. She obviously knows who he is, you know, because she's dating me, and it's pretty much fucking inescapable if you come in my house. So she has the education on the character, but she watched this as a very casual viewer, and I was just like, I honestly want to hear what you think at the end of this. And she was like, I don't understand what everyone's so mad about. She's like, if this were fucking woke, I would be one of the first people saying that that's a bunch of crap. And she's like, no, she's like, I didn't get that vibe at all, man. Like, yeah, the hero dies in the first episode and they bring him back and it ends on a really dark note. But she's like, do any of these dorks really think that he's not going to be back in the latter half? She's like, I'm not even a fan, and I figured that out.
And you know what the greatest part is?
What's up, Charlotte?
As mad as everybody is about this show, you still fucking watched it.
I know.
They still got the view.
I know. Thanks for the view, dude. And just for the record, Kevin Smith's trolling was absolutely legendary on this, where he's just like, okay, I'm gonna go do Clerks 3. It's like, I'm gonna kill off Dante in the first act because apparently that's a really popular thing to do these days. I was like, bro, perfection.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't care if you hate this. I worked really hard on it and a lot of people love it, so go on and hate it, man. Dude,
so I can't wait. I'm gonna leave it on there. I cannot wait. It's gonna be awesome.
All they got to do is keep doing what they've been doing and just keep dishing out the fan service. That's all I want, dude. I want to see. I mean, we got Clamp Champ. I mean, like they worked in so much stuff just in that first episode in the big battle. And I was like, dude, they could have gone like Ram Man or Stratos or so many other like kind of like surface level MOTU shit. Dude, they went to Clamp Champ. They went to the Bro. And they went to guy whose name is straight out of a porn. Fisto. They didn't think that one through. There is a battle where there is a guy named Fisto and a guy named Clamp Champ beating shit up. If that ain't fan service again, you're gonna have to tell me a better example. So
I love it.
This shit was amazing.
I
absolutely loved it.
Cannot wait for season 2 or part 2.
Cannot wait. All right, I'm gonna let Cal get up off here because he's got important alleged shit to do, and I'm like really hungry. Real quick, I just want to go through the folks who stopped in since we haven't really been talking to the folks in the crowd very much. MPT Sweet, thank you, man. I actually have been reading all the comments, man. It's just wasn't meaning to sideline what you were saying here, buddy. Like I totally agree with everything you were saying. It's just we had some talking points we had to get through here. I didn't want to get off track since we're kind of under the gun here. I like a bareback. I'm glad my toy collection made your nips hard. Honey Bunny, thank you for stopping by. Humble Bundle, thank you so much. Haven't seen you in a while, man. I hope you're doing good. Nostalgia Factor, who just came in at the end. Shallot, of course, late as a motherfucker. Like, thanks, dude. Like, I know it's not Dirt Flicks, but you could just turn it on and leave the room so we could get that extra, like, one single view, because we're always good to you, aren't we? I sent you a t-shirt, you fuck. So I'm fucking with you, Shallot. No, Shallot, it's always nice to hear from you, man.
We love you.
Thank you, everyone, so much, man. Again, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Even if you're not a He-Man fan, dude, seriously, go watch it. I don't think you have to be a He-Man fan to think that this is really cool. It's really, really good.
Well,
seriously,
like I said, man, I'm not the biggest He-Man fan ever, but like I love the story to it. Like, to me, it was like I'm ready for more. So let's do it.
Absolutely. I'm with you, buddy. So I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if I can convince my fucking brother from Kentucky to join me on this one, how about we do a follow-up to this when we have a chance to watch part 2, and we'll revisit this. And I'll tell you what, if it is really going in the quote Tila show direction, we will own it. Before anyone calls anyone else out, we'll be like, guys, we were wrong.
Yeah.
I'll burn the Retro Game Lounge down. No, I'm not really gonna do that.
Let's do another. Let's go a little further.
Sure.
How about we watch the first episode live with each other?
Sure.
Of part 2.
Sure.
We'll do that.
Just like don't make fun of me too much if I start like turning up a little bit.
Dude. Hey, legit, man. You go. You're
Thanks,
good.
man. Thanks, buddy. I can cry with another man. Why not, right?
I don't care.
Awesome. All right. Well, Kyle, stick around for just 1 second. We're going to go ahead and say goodnight to everyone. Thank you, everyone, so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. Jump into the comments, man. Let us know what you thought. If you disagreed with us, if you really still think this is the fucking Tila show, you're going to have to make one hell of a goddamn argument to turn this around on us. But guys, look, if you're really going to wax intellectual on this, we're not saying that casual fans can't have an opinion on this. Anyone can have an opinion on this. But if you're going to go off on a tangent about like, this is tearing down He-Man, be ready to back it up. Seriously. Be ready to back it up because you're going to get called out on it. If you're not an avid follower of this, meaning you've read not just like, oh, I watched the show when I was a kid. Dude, that doesn't mean shit. Everyone watched fucking He-Man when they were a kid. That's like saying like, I'm a Star Wars fan. You know, I watched it when I was a kid. Fucking everyone saw that movie when you were a kid. That doesn't mean you're a fan. Jesus Christ. That doesn't give you license to wax intellectual about this. No, you got to go deeper than that, man. So you leave us your comments in the section. You tell us what you think. Seriously, you can say whatever you want. We're not going to delete anybody as long as you're staying on topic and not being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. If you think we're stupid, we've been called worse. We do host the fucking show about terrible movies, so
we call each other stupid. So
we watch stupid movies on purpose, dude. Like if you don't think we're stupid for doing that, then you're stupid. So anyways, Kyle, hang around for just a sec. We will say goodnight. New episode of Dirt Flicks coming very soon. Stay tuned to the Retro Game Lounge Facebook page for details on that, and we will see you guys next time.
Later.